Hey guys, this is my recently acquired Enfield 350 bullet. This I got in place of the Armstrong MT500 that I had recently. Now, my first video of this was intended to be a quick kind of walk around and show you it starting and running and all that kind of thing. However, there's been a couple of niggles that have paid to that. The first one being that on checking the spark plug, I noticed that the plug's threads had been cross-threaded, which I managed to sort of carefully rethread the plug back in and get that to tighten up fairly well in the first instance. And then while I was checking over other bits and pieces, had to have the plug out a couple of times, and the plug threads have actually finally given up the ghost. So the first sort of video on this is a quick kind of here's my Enfield, and here's the jobs I'm going to be doing on it very shortly. Sat on the table that you can see is the cylinder head, and just a quick shot of the underneath. I want to try and get, there we go, so you can see it's actually surprisingly clean. I mean, there's quite a bit of soot, sooty sort of dry carbon, which is fairly run-of-the-mill, nothing unusual there. You can see the little decompressor button, which works just like a valve, that you can see there. Your inlet valve, the large one, exhaust valve, the smaller one, and spark plug. Now, the reason this head has been removed is after I'd got it and a little bit of fettling about, it was running, suddenly stopped running and lost the spark. On a bit of fettling around and checking, I discovered the spark plug to be cross-threaded. As you can see, that's completely shot. So the head's off at the moment to be helicoiled. Here's the other head component. You can see the other part of the valves there. They're going to come out and going to decoke the whole thing. That's the old head gasket, copper head gasket there. You've got the push rods, the longer one being the inlet, the shorter one being the exhaust. The oil delivery tube for the rocker system, the rocker covers, and the rocker arm assemblies, which I've removed as one block. These separate the upper and lowers, and then they bolt onto studs in here that you can see. And the push rods push on these push on the valves, and they rock in that assembly there. To keep it all together, I've just dropped a couple of cable ties through the whole lot, so I can keep them all in order and all together. So what I'm going to do is strip the whole thing out, the valves, excuse me, the decompressor plug, helicoil the plug, give it all a good clean up and a decoke. Now, I'm just going to zoom outside and show you here. What we have is the barrel and the piston down there, which you can just about see. And again, it's in pretty good fettle, a bit of carbon. The barrel itself doesn't look bad, but what I'm going to do, as a matter of course, is whip the barrel off while I'm this far down and have a good look around and see what's what. Now, I could actually title this video "The Silicone Bandit Strikes Again." I don't know if this is from the factory or if somebody in the past has had this engine apart. How many miles has it done? I forget just off the top of my head. 24,000 kilometres, so it's actually not that high. Although I suppose it's a 2000 model, so yeah, 6.5 dozen of the other there. But yeah, taking the head off was an absolute nightmare, because the previous owner, or from the factory, one or the other, I'm not sure which, had fitted the head gasket with a sealing silicone. Now, when you use the copper gaskets, it's recommended to use something like a Well Seal or a Blue Hylamar, which is a non-setting silicone sealant, and this allows you to remove gaskets relatively easily because it won't set like springy rubber. Now, what this had is what you can see right down here, like spaghetti strings everywhere. It's quite spectacular, this is. and the barrel didn't give up quite as much of a fight as the head did. But yeah, it was fairly well stuck on. To remove the head, I ultimately had to resort to driving in a screwdriver, large screwdriver like this one, in such a manner close to the barrel to try and avoid breaking the fins, and drifting that in with a mallet until it actually lifted the head enough to split the silicone sealant. And that was the problem. It was actually lifting away, but it was springing back as the silicone had got such a good grip on it. Another problem with these, I'm told, is the standard washers used on the cylinder head studs, on the deep ones, these here, these four, can spread mushroom inside and they grip onto these, making removal difficult. But certainly in this case, it was gallons upon gallons of this stuff. I mean, it's absolutely everywhere. It's incredible. So, because I've got a Decoke kit, complete top end kit. I mean, look at this. It's crazy. This is half filling the. I don't know if you can see that there. Maybe not so clearly, but it's actually got a rubber skin over half of the. You can probably hear that springing away. It's like a rubber skin over half of the tappet, the pushrod tube. It's quite incredible. So yeah, I'll be giving that a good clean up. You can see a big long string of it just in there as well. The stuff's everywhere. It's quite remarkable. So yeah, whoever had this previously, or maybe whoever at the factory, obviously had a liking for this black silicone stuff. So I'll be popping the rest of the barrel off the rest of the way. I've had to have a bit of judicious levering and whacking with a rubber mallet, but it has started to come up. So I'll be popping the barrel off, checking the bore, checking the piston, rings, etc, 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 giving the whole thing a good clean up, and then refitting everything with the gaskets I've got in the Decoke kit, putting it all back together, and then figuring out the lack of spark problem, and hopefully I should be running and mobile soon, and I hope to do a few sort of how-to general videos and ultimately a review. So watch this channel, and hopefully it won't be too long. Quick little extra thing that I meant to mention. I noticed when I actually had the head off, I don't know if this is just kind of rough casting, but you can see there, this I think it's rough casting looking at it, but it's all very kind of lumpy up at the top there, almost like something's been clamped to it, but looking at it, it does look like part of the casting. And if you look underneath, something that makes me think this head's been off before is there's a welded portion of fin right there. Now it's not actually affecting the mating surface of the head, but it's right up to the edge of it there, as you can see, and it's very neatly welded as welding goes. Nice bit of alloy welding there. But I don't know, again, as I say, if this was just kind of as it came from the factory and just happened to have been repaired after casting, or if somebody's had this off before and tried levering the thing and snapped this off. Okay, one last little bit. Why not? Well, I've got the camera out and my hands are reasonably clean. What we've got here is a barrel removed, a bit of rag wrapped around and just generally stuffed around the skirt of the piston and front and back and sides, and covering the little pushrod tube holes. And the bike is covered up while it's here, but just to stop any sort of crap and detritus getting down there. Cursory inspection shows the piston to be pretty good. All of the oil rings are free in the grooves. There's nothing, oh sorry, I was pointing at the completely wrong area. But all the oil rings free in the grooves, as you can see there. The actual piston skirt on cursory inspection looks pretty good. A little bit of score in front and back, which I'm not massively worried about, and the bore so far looks okay. The crown, bit of carbon, but nothing that can't be cured with a bit of a judicious application of a scraper and some wet and dry, and get that polished up and shiny. And then the real kind of killer for me is going to be getting all this. Let me try and unwrap this. It's difficult with one hand, as you can imagine. But yeah, it's going to be getting all this bloody silicone off. I kid you not, the guy, look at this, it's ridiculous. Whoever put all this on, I reckon they must have got shares in the stuff, and it all seems to be industrial strength. It's like something that they'd use, that NASA would use or something. It's absolutely ridiculous. There we go. And as you can see, it's actually pretty good. We'll give it a quick sort of measurement check and everything else, as well as a visual inspection, and see if it's kind of within limits. But it all looks nice and round and so nice and smooth. There's no obvious scratches or nasties in there. So yeah, good clean up and some removal again of Mr. Silicone's handiwork, which is everywhere. Good clean up of that, and replace that with the fresh gasket in my Decoke kit. And once that's all back together, we should be rocking and rolling, and I will be trying to figure out where the spark problem is, and hopefully get it running and MOT'd and up and on the road very soon. A couple of last little things. Top tip for anyone working outdoors, this time of year in the Highlands, get one of these. They're about £5, worth every penny. Save you getting eyes full of midges and sort of swearing and cursing while your hands are oiled up and caked up with rubbish, and getting bitten to pieces, or anywhere with biting insects. Superb things. And one last little thing, does anybody know what these are? They're very funky. They're little sort of blue and yellow trumpety type flowers. There's something my missus has planted. She hasn't got a clue what they are. I couldn't care less about gardening. Some of the knowledge of my gardening is running a mower over things. But yeah, they look kind of funky, so if anyone knows what they are, please let me know. Cracking stuff. Okay, and that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching.